Right, so right now it is 3:12 Mountain Time, so I will be done with journaling at 5:12 Mountain Time, so in 2 hours that's 7:12 Eastern Time. So today's gonna be an incredibly valuable day to learn from. I think I rushed into a trade. I really did. Um, I was in the mindset of I really wanted to make money. I was in the wrong mindset. I said that we were within a consolidation, right? And until we broke one of the sides, that it was going to be lower probability conditions, and I knew that. But there's so much value in today. Today was actually a really, really great trading day, and there were quite a few good trades. And unfortunately, I did not have the patience to wait for them, and I jumped on a setup a little too early. And we're just going to talk about it and review it and move on. So um, first thing I want to say that I learned from today is I want to make sure if I'm taking a breaker and for value gap trade, I want to have a higher time frame model mapped out. As for the inverse for value gap trades, I'm not as concerned, but I think with a breaker and a fair value gap, ideally you should have a higher time frame model framed. So that's the first thing I'm gonna change. And so something new that I created not too long ago that is pretty new is I made this sheet for my rules, and so I want to show you guys real quick. So I have this new sheet for my rules, and I'm gonna be adjusting to it, adding to it, and editing it as needed. So one thing I'm gonna edit is for breaker and for value gap setups, and so what I'm saying is for breaker and for value gaps, I want to have a higher time frame model framed. For inverse for value gaps, I'm not requiring it. And the reason for that is inverse for value gaps, it's simply just based off of liquidity, right? But a breaker and a for value gap, you need to actually have like a pretty good model framed. I kind of just said the same thing that I already said. But okay, today was actually really valuable, so we're going to talk about everything. And you can note here, it was actually crazy. We respected our special key level. It's called the Reaper for value gap. We respected it perfectly. And so if you don't know what this is, you take the series of up close candles, the highest series of up close candles, that is your breaker. You mark out the fair value gap within discount of the breaker, if there is one. So you can see that is right here. There's your fair value gap within discount of the breaker. Drag this all the way over and check that out. That's where the market found support. This was the Reaper fair value gap. And so, very underground thing. Not many people know about it. And you can see this was a very, very reactionary level, right? We hit it right towards the end of the macro. And now I knew that this is probably what was going to happen today. You can go look at my analysis. Actually, let's go pull it up. I said that we were probably going to dip into the fair value gap and then expand off of that fair value gap. I did predict that pretty well. You can see that here in the weekly profiling. I said we're probably going to dip into the fair value gap and then expand. I mean, you can see that's exactly what happened, right? We dipped into that fair value gap, and then we expanded higher, and then continued to expand. So, it is what it is. I mean, just proves I'm getting better, you know? So, Man, this is so interesting. So I wonder if I mark out. I mean, this looks like a pretty clear range right here. Wow. Okay, dude. This might actually be Enigma. It's crazy. Let's add more to this. So we'll do maybe we'll do like a and then we'll do -6 and then -6.25. I'll make this like yellow or something. That's crazy. I mean, you really think this isn't an algorithm? I mean, my gosh, bro. So look, you take the consolidation, project out one down, right? So here you have your range. Then you copy this 1, 2, 3, and boom. Tells you exactly where the high of the day will be. Okay, anyway, enough of that. So interesting though, oh my gosh. And then you can see the same thing here, right? We had a consolidation. It was the most obvious consolidation, so I just measured it, right? Actually, I measured it like this, from here down to here, and then you can see that 2 to 2.5 was right there. So then and took this out, projected it, and then boom. Crazy. Now I wonder if you could have used the 15-minute range. Looks like it. It would just go to the 3 to 3.5, so then you project out. Okay. Then boom, and then boom. See, like this, like. I guess this one's not as obvious. But the point is, you just take the consolidation and you can measure out standard deviations of it. And I think it's interesting. Okay. So we also end up going to the daily statistical manipulation level. But the important thing about right now is we need to figure out what trades we could have taken and where my trade went wrong today. So unfortunately, my trade was within this consolidation. I did say that we were within these two major points of liquidity. We were within this low, and we were within this high. And so I did say I wanted to see one of those get broken, but I thought that this was okay because we had a bunch of liquidity up here. You can see this is a consolidation, and then we had a sweep of this low, and then we had a 5-minute fair value gap right here. So here's your 5-minute fair value gap. And what I did was I saw that, okay, We respected this. We got a 5-minute change state delivery. We already had a 15-minute change state delivery. Okay. Like, all this is good. Oh my gosh. This is why you check the hourly. Check that out. Hourly CISD to the downside. I didn't even know about that. Same with the 30-minute. But anyway, we had this 15-minute fair value gap. And within this 15-minute fair value gap, remember we also swept out this low. I saw we inverse this, and I thought we were targeting these highs. Oh my gosh, I'm just now realizing this is, it's hard to realize in the moment, but when we wick through all this, we take out, look at how much liquidity we take out of this range. We wick through all this, we stop out everyone from here to here. So now everyone that's, look at that. Everyone in this range right here, this blue shaded region, is stopped out, right? And so you have to ask yourself, is there like enough like liquidity up here? I guess I saw these equal highs. So I saw these equal highs and I thought, okay, here's a breaker. It wasn't the worst trade in the world, because here's the other thing. If I go look at the lows here, 852, 911, I mean, it really wasn't terrible, but it could have been better. So here we have 852, 911, right? So we have a lower low on the S&P, and then we have 852 and 911. We have a higher low on the NASDAQ, right? So with all this in mind, we have equal highs above here. So these were what I wanted to see get hit. And I thought that this seemed like a possible buy model, right? Because we had this 15-minute fair value gap below 830, right? Below 830, so in discount relative to 830. I mean, now that I'm looking at it, this trade really doesn't look as bad as I thought it was, right? We get good displacement higher, and then we have a breaker, right? So this up close candle, this breaker, and this fair value gap. And I wanted us to come up and take out the rest of these highs here. And we had all of these highs over here as well. So what went wrong here? Right? What went wrong? You'll note we were also, well, for one, we're at the end of this macro, right? So actually we were going into this macro. That was why I thought it was okay, right? We were going into this 920, 940 macro. So I thought maybe we would expand. Okay, let's dive deeper into this here. So but another issue with this is I am getting a little fixated on the 1 minute chart, right? And that's not super good, right? But yeah, I kind of saw these highs as low resistance. I really don't think it was the worst trade in the world, and that's and that makes it okay, right? But yeah. And then I was gonna leave a runner for the equal highs. So I think the main thing is we're within this consolidation, right? And I'll talk more about that in a second. Yeah, definitely not the worst trade in the world, but definitely could have been better. I think it was, but now that I'm looking at it in hindsight, it's really not as bad as I was thinking. I think the main reason I was upset is because I knew that we were going to come down into this fair value gap, and I didn't have the patience to wait for us to take out one of these ends here, right? I just saw the breaker and I was like, oh, we're going to go higher, and then we didn't. Okay. All right, time to journal. Okay, so let's get out the spreadsheet. I'll talk more about today about other details about what happened. So I'm making updates to this all the time. The R on this was like 1.3 to 1, like 1.4 to 1. All of these are copy trades now. And this was on February 3rd. Okay. I forgot to do a pre-trade rating, but I think I would have given it an A. Pre-trade. So I would have given it an A. And then post-trade rating, I think post-trade, okay. Here's the thing, right? Higher time frame was bullish. We were within higher time frame buy model, but I did want to see these lows get taken out. Unfortunately, that did not happen. I really wanted to see us come down into this fair value gap. I didn't wait for my higher time frame idea to play out, and so because of that, I think I should have been a little bit more patient. I think I should have waited for us to come down. Once I see this reaction off the Reaper, and then once we get this, like this was the trade of the day in my opinion. It was the trade of the day was we closed above this breaker block here, right? So the series of up close candles. Once we close above this, well, I guess arguably. No. It's good. It's good. I'm realizing I was like, well, what about? I thought we wicked everything out, but no, this is fine, right? So we close above this breaker, delivering from the Reaper for value gap, right? And we also inverse this. So this was the trade of the day, in my opinion. And had I been patient, I definitely could have caught this, right? Where we close above this breaker. I put stop loss below the breaker. And we also had an inversion, right? And then you could have targeted a lot of different things. I probably would have just targeted. See, this is where it gets interesting because but I'd definitely go break even here, right? I'd go break even here at all these highs. And I wonder if I would have got stopped at a break even. No, I don't think I would. See? Enter. Okay. I honestly think it's fair to say you could target this new day opening gap. I mean, maybe you target the daily distribution level. Definitely, you definitely could target the daily distribution level. You could also take this as a 3-minute close above. Yeah, delivering from the daily stat map level. Delivering from this Reaper for value gap. Delivering from the 2-hour for value gap. Let's put that trade in the journal. Did I do that yet? Oh, I was gonna rate the post trade. So then I also have a new column for do I approve the trade post trade, right? Post trade approval. I don't know. Honestly, it looks okay. Low key. Um, yeah, it could have been better, but I think I'm being a little too hard on myself. I think this was okay. Now, I think you do need to enter. Nah, you can enter on the breaker. Hmm. I think the main thing that I should have realized is, I think it's the 15-minute gap, right? Or is it a 3-minute gap? One of these gaps doesn't inverse. Yeah. See this 3-minute gap? This 3-minute external gap never actually inverses, which is a giant red flag. So if I mean it's hard because it's hard to see all that in real time. I think I'll give this one a B plus. Just because one, we're within this consolidation, so made it lower probability. Two, we hadn't inversed this 3-minute gap, and then yeah, those are the main two reasons, honestly. Other than that, I think it was okay. Oh, third, we wicked through the majority of the liquidity already. All right, those are my 3 reasons. So I'm gonna make this yellow. I don't think it was the worst trade in the world, but I do think that it could have been better, right? Oh, post trade approval. I might honestly give it approval. Well, okay, let's see. Would I take this again? No, I would not take this again because the 3-minute did not inverse. All right, so it's not approved. It's not approved. I think we have this 3-minute external gap, and we already wicked the majority of the liquidity. It doesn't make sense to take. So if I were to look at this again and see it, I would not take it. So, all right, let's write this in the journal. What trade was this? Trade. Yeah, Monday, February 3rd, 2025. Okay, where was that? Okay. So here's that breaker in for value gap. Here's the S&T. We swept out this low. And we had equal highs above. I mean, to be fair, it's kind of good RR. Like, if it did work out, then, and we ran all the way to equal highs, then it would have been a huge winning trade for me. So, you can see we did end up going all the way to equal highs, but, yeah, not till later. Okay, let's screenshot this. Oh, I also need to mark out that we swept out this low, which is important. Okay. I had the right idea, but I was a little too early. So yeah, the 3 minute, we never actually get over this for value gap here. Giant red flag. We kept wicking through it. So yeah, we never actually, reason number one, we never actually were able to break through this 3 minute fair value gap. Okay, reason number 2 is prior to the trade, we've already wicked into a majority of the consolidation or the majority of the liquidity. That's not really a great sign for a high probability trade. And then reason number 3 is that on the higher time frame, we're trapped between 2 liquidity pools, right? We're trapped between relatively equal lows and relatively equal highs. Honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm gonna give this a B. I'm not even gonna say it's a B or an A. I'm gonna say it's a B. Yeah. I'm not gonna be too hard on myself, but I do think that wasn't the best trade I could have taken, and that's okay. We'll move on. And that's just trading. There's gonna be losses, and you gotta move on. So maybe I'll make this would I take again? Should I have this be post-trade approval or would I take again? Maybe both. No, I'll just have it be post-trade approval. Yeah, I'll just have it be this. Could have been better. I'm not gonna lie. Definitely could have been better. But we live and we move on. Wasn't the worst trade, but could have been better. With all that in mind, I'm gonna go take a break and then I will review the rest of the market. So I'm trying to figure out. You think this is good? I think you would take this 1 minute inversion here. That's what you would take. This 1 minute IPG. That would have been the trade of the day. I mean, granted, I don't know if I would have seen that, but that would have been the trade of the day right there. If I was to redo today, I would have waited until we got this. See, the thing about this is, though, like, you have to be paying attention. Like, if you're not paying attention at this 1-2 minute, right at 10:21, when we get the Reaper, yeah. But when we get this aggressive delivery from here, I would definitely enter on that, and then boom, up the daily distribution level. Man, that'd be. See, this is why if you can just pay attention and not be distracted, oh my gosh, there's so much opportunity. There's so much opportunity. Low key, like, I know I like breakers and stuff, but like, I also don't need them. Like, you can just take inversions like this, and this would be fine, right? So this is the trade of the day. This 1 minute inversion. And then break even here. I'd go break even actually right here. And then you could target the daily distribution level. And I think this might also have been a new week opening gap. I'm trying to figure out, should I have like 7 or 5? I think 5 is fine. Delivering from a 2-hour for value gap and breaker. See, it's just, this would have been actually aligned with the higher time frame, which would have made it quite a bit better, honestly. You know. Dang, dude. Right to the statistical manipulation level. Right to that Reaper for value gap. Dang, dude. If only I was paying attention. During the macro. I mean, not if I was paying attention. If only I had the patience to actually wait for this. $10.20. Right to the daily manipulation level. I wonder about session stat map. Did we hit anything about session stat map? Nothing crazy. So here we have this breaker block and fair value gap. And then within discount of this breaker block, we had the Reaper fair value gap. We also had the event horizon, right? I mean, if you're trading the higher time frame power of 3, right? This is a really good 4-hour power of 3 right here. So the 10 a.m. candle opens up here. Let's see, 4-hour. Now it's not gonna show up actually. Now that I'm thinking about it. Right, this is a good 10 a.m. power of 3. 10 a.m. opens up right here. Manipulation down into that Reaper for value gap and that 2-hour for breaker for value gap. And then, yeah. And then I could just target, you could just target the daily. I would just target, honestly, I just take partials. Like, I would trail stop and take partials Honestly, maybe take all off here. I'd maybe leave a runner to the daily distribution level, but I'd probably take all off here for 2 to 1. Well, actually, if I measure out standard deviations of this, what do we get? Yeah, I actually probably target the 4 to 4.5 here. Hmm. Look, we ended up going to that 4 to 4.5. Okay, so yeah, if I was to redo this, man, where would I take all off? I think I would take all off here. Maybe I would hold the 2 to 2.5 standard deviation. Actually, yeah, I'd probably just hold to the midpoint of this. I'd probably just take partials all the way through here, so like. Was there an RTH gap? Yeah, it's this right here. And you can see we ended up filling that almost instantaneously. We actually haven't filled it yet. Yeah, I think I'd target here because this is right before here because this is the midpoint of RTH gap and midpoint. Yeah, I'd probably take all off here. I don't need that, honestly. And then, yeah. I mean, you could also just. probably what I'd do. If I was to redo this. Or take a trade. Different trade today. And then the daily stat map distribution level. Let's get rid of this one. This is what I would have done if I was to redo this. Yeah. I mean, this is in line with higher time frame as well. Trade of the day. Date. Oh, what time was this at? 10:21. Delivery from 2-hour fair value gap. Delivery from, what was it, like a 2-hour breaker block? I'll just say delivery from 2-hour fair value gap. I think this is fine. I mean, the main idea with that trade is it's a 10 a.m. power of 3, right? And you're just waiting for confirmation from this inversion. Or no, I meant the 10 a.m. candle. Oh, crap. What was it, 10 a.m.? I meant 10 a.m. I believe it's 10 a.m., right? 10 a.m. candle. Yeah. What?